Good morning, happy Thursday, and welcome back to the You Good podcast, the podcast where oversharing is encouraged and the thoughts get real. I'm your host, C-Rod, and today we've got a guest that takes me all the way back to my college years. You know, every once in a while you meet someone whose presence just kind of leaves a mark on your life. And for me, this guest has always been that kind of person. You know, she's the type of soul who brings color into a room just by being there. You know, Nick and I, over the last few weeks, we've tackled Tampa friends. We took the way back time machine to childhood friends. But today, I'm excited to start peeling back, layers of my college years. So, let's get into it. Good morning, Nick. How are you?
Good morning, big dog. How you doing?
Doing well, brother. Doing well, brother. What's been new with you? How was your week?
Uneventful for the most part so far. Looking forward to football. So
fuck
game.
football.
So, no?
Fuck football.
Okay.
I lost a ton of money because Derrick Henry couldn't score a touchdown.
You lost a ton of money. How much did you bet that you lost?
I bet enough to lose because he didn't score a touchdown, and I'm gonna have to make another deposit. Let's just say that.
Oh, I've been playing with house money. I got a $20 bonus bet. I won $400, and then I won $160 and then $170 this weekend. So,
well, I've won nothing. I've lost a lot. Good for you. I'm very happy that you won that money.
I stopped betting on touchdowns. I just do yards, dude. and I win more often than not. I'm serious.
Well, I bet 75 yards and a touchdown, and he didn't get either. So,
no.
And I lost in all of my fantasy leagues except for one. Ooh. But in that one league, I'm 2-0, and I've had highest scorer twice, and they're gonna have to send me the belt in a few weeks here. But, anyways, I digress. Today we have another guest. It was definitely weird taking a week off. You know, the last 2 weeks. We ran a 2-parter, which was crazy.
Yeah.
Our last guest, we recorded for 4 hours. That will not happen today. We've already made it known. And we recorded so long that it turned into 2 episodes, but I thought it was great. It was nice to take our first break in probably almost 3 months from this, but it definitely felt weird to not be in this seat last Tuesday.
Yeah. I definitely miss it. I'm glad we got to play games, though.
We did play games. We did. If anybody's listening, Nick and I have started playing Jackbox and streaming them on Twitch.com. So if you guys have ever heard of You Don't Know Jack, it was a very old computer game. Crazy trivia. They came back and they made a Jack in the Box, which was all these crazy, weird, random games. I think we talked about this with Brittany. We started playing during COVID. Fibbage is one of them. There's a murder mystery trivia. But anyways, follow us at CrodsPod. We post when we go live sometimes, and you're more than welcome to join us.
Yes, please join us. It's always a good time.
The guest today is going to be a fun one because we had a guest from Tampa, right? We had a few guests from my early childhood. This is going to be the first guest from my college years, my C-Rod years. You know, like Chris talked about how he didn't know the phase of C-Rod. Well, today's guest only knows me as C-Rod. You know, they don't really know before that or who I was before Orlando. They only saw me in my shining light of drunkenness in Orlando. She is someone that has shared a lot of college time with me. Very early on, we went to a lot of parties, a lot of music festivals together. We've logged a lot of wild nights that can be quote unquote or forgettable memories. But for me, she has been someone that has always unapologetically been herself. She's creative, she's true, she's genuine. She's one of the most kind-hearted people that I know. And I want to welcome to the You Good podcast, Kristen Hugo, aka Hugo Boss, aka Miss Kris. My dear, welcome. I'm so happy to see you. And you're already crying, you're already tearing up. But welcome to the podcast.
That was so sweet. Thank you. Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Preparing for this episode, Chris texted and said, "Hey, I may cry. And I said, Nick and I tear up all the time, or we've teared up multiple times. It's okay to cry. And we are 4 minutes and 55 seconds in before we've got the first tear up.
Yeah, I told you, I warned you, and it's already happening.
This will be a great episode. Grab your tissues.
I know. Gosh.
Grab your tissues.
Jeez.
So, this week's intro topic or intro discussion, if you've listened to us the last few weeks, we've kind of rotated between a one-word mental health check-in and Nick's new request of a song on repeat. So as the guest, Kris, I wanted to ask, in the last week of your life, I know that you've had a lot of life changes going on, we'll get into that, but what's been kind of the song on repeat for you? What's been your vibe? How are you feeling? And tell us why that it's been that way.
Well, the last couple months have been a little rough. I'm not going to lie. I've been unemployed for 8 months. I got laid off back in December. But lucky enough, I just started a new job last week. Woohoo!
Congratulations.
Thank you. Very exciting. So, I kind of had a rough summer. Plus, I lost some friends in the beginning of the year. So it's just been a weird, strange year and dealing with some grief from my grandma, losing her, last year, or almost 2 years ago. I'm sorry. Wow, time flies. So, just dealing with all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
It's been a new song that just came out, and it's kind of been putting like a pep in my step, especially with the new job. And it's this song called, I think it's Man I Need by Olivia Dean. And it's just like one of those songs that like you skip to it and you don't even think about it. You're
good.
Like, you're in a music video in your head.
So good.
She really is. So
it's
that's the song I've been literally playing nonstop.
It is. Yeah, that's a good one.
You've heard of this song?
Oh yeah, I've heard it before
bop.
they came out. It's going viral. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like that thing.
Right.
That thing it's good. Yeah, my friend Christina posted it, and I was like, oh okay. And then the rest was history. I'm like, yeah, she's dope.
Like you can't help but
Well,
smile
I've
when
not
you
heard
listen
it,
to
but
it.
I have it queued up to listen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right, good. So it's kind of been uplifting, getting your
Yeah.
spirits in a different mindset. I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I love that. How about you, Nick?
Yeah, Spotify, dictates what I listen to every week. So, Chanel number 5, it's like baby making music is the best.
Mambo
way to
number
describe it.
5?
Yeah, Chanel, like the perfume, and he references it in the song. So, it's good.
I know what Chanel.
It's
number.
not
I was
as
making
good
a
as Man
joke
I Need.
to
It's
Mumbo
not as
number
good as Man
5.
I Need.
Who sings it? Is there a singer?
Alexander Mack.
I don't know who that is.
I don't
You
either.
won't. Again, every week you won't know 90% of the people that I ever bring up. It's because I don't. Like these people are new to me almost every week, and it's like cool. I'll then start listening to them, and Spotify's great because it like knows what I like, and I find new stuff all the time, and it is awesome.
Well, I have some new stuff for you. So my song is actually called Place to Be, and it's from the Zombies 4 soundtrack. If you're a big Disney fan, I know there's some adult Disney people out there, but what was it? Last week I took my kids to the Disney World Tour of Zombies and Descendants. If you don't know, these are very good movies. If you like Disney movies, even if you don't have kids, they are good movies. But they came to town and I took the girls. So every single morning now we've been listening to the same song on repeat every morning drive. And I want to bash my head against the window, but that song happens to be a Zombies 4 Place to Be. And it's just building memories with my kids while I don't smash my head against the window.
Yeah, your Spotify is all Disney songs and kids bop.
It really is. My what is it, year wrap up or whatever it might be they do on Spotify. It used to be like Ed Sheeran, Eminem, and now it's like Baby Shark and what's that other little baby name? There's another little baby out there. I forget his name. I don't know.
My kid's almost an adult. Like
there's it's gonna bother me. There's like a little kid and then there's another kid and He has sisters and brothers. I don't know. I'll think about his name later. Whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's above my pay grade. I don't know.
I wish they could see our faces. Like me and Miss Kris are just
one day.
What?
I'm baffled.
What's going on?
It feels weird to call you anything other than Hugo.
I know.
It was especially weird typing out Kristen. What would you like to go by for the rest of the episode?
Honestly, no one calls me Kristen like ever unless it's I'm in trouble or legal documents. So Hugo's fine, Kris is fine, whichever.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kris. No, I don't like that. We're gonna go with Hugo.
That feels right. That feels right.
It feels right. I want to start right. There's only one place to start with this conversation. I guess. We've been friends for, coming up on 15 years now? That's not right.
Oh my gosh.
2010?
Yeah, it's gotta be, yeah. Yeah, it's 2025,
so thank you, Nick. It is 2025. Let's start with college, right? You sent me a screenshot the other day of our first Facebook post together. It was nice to meet you. I had saw that as well. It's actually wild that we can go on Facebook and we can literally go back to like the very first time that we met each other. We can see that moment in time. I know that we kind of have two different perspectives of that moment, but I want to talk about your first impression and what stands out the most to you, I guess, from your early college years, but also, from our first interactions of meeting each other.
Oh man. Those days, it was a whirlwind, honestly, because I had just rushed Zeta. So I was meeting so many people left and right between like all the new sisters, and my big was dating one of your brothers at the time. So it was like I was immediately adopted into Kappa Sig as like a little sister. So it was just like constantly, left and right meeting new people. It was overwhelming almost because, I was like, wait, who's this person again? What's their name? I can't remember. Okay, there's this person. And then constant Facebook, friend requests and all of that left and right. So, but there was that like core crew, like you and Alvaro. And it was just, there were those certain people that just clicked, and immediately it was like, okay, these couple guys felt immediately like big brothers. There was just something very comforting, and it felt like I had found, I guess, my people is the best way to describe it, especially in Greek life, because there are so many, many people. And I was...
Your tribe.
Exactly. I was slightly hesitant and a little scared about joining Greek life because, you know me, I'm not exactly your typical Greek life type of girl. So
not at all. Not at all.
The fact that I was even in Zeta was amazing.
Let me ask you this. I kind of talked about my first move to college, not knowing anybody. The reason that I joined a fraternity was because I didn't know anybody, and I just happened to be out, and people were like, hey, there's a frat rush. Yeah, Nick was the same way, going from Deltona to Tallahassee. Did you know anybody Jacksonville, sorry, when you went to UCF, or what made you rush? Was it just because of Kim, or did you even know Kim before you rushed?
No, I did not know Kim until after I rushed. I did know some people that were going to UCF. I did have friends from high school because I went to school in Coral Springs. So plenty of people were going to UCF close by. And I didn't rush until spring, which is probably how I got into Zeta, because I think fall rush would have been
smaller rush.
Mm-hmm. And I think fall rush would have been way more, I guess, also the key word here today, overwhelming. And going into summer and fall, it kind of let me get my bearings of college and, those first few semesters and seeing what I wanted to do and who I liked and, the kinds of groups of people that I was meeting. And I got close with my summer roommate, and me and her decided to do spring rush together just because we were like, you know what? Okay. I was so involved in high school, and that's kind of why I was like, I kind of always wanted to rush, but it was like, is that really my thing? I don't know. And so eventually she was like, let's just do it. And I said, okay, let's do it. I'm a yes girl. So I was like, sure.
Was it important to kind of get that big sister? And did that kind of change your friends group and your perception of like social interactions that first semester, that first year, when you, like you mentioned, you were meeting all these people, and it was so intoxicating getting, you know, these are the early phases of Facebook, and we were the same way. All these people are sending you requests. You're like, who? I don't know these people, but I'm going to let them into my personal life immediately. I know nothing about them. But what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the oldest of 4 kids. So, you know, being the oldest, you know, you always want to have that older sibling to look up to. Because I am that for 3 younger ones, you know? So having a big sister was a very alluring part of joining a sorority. And Kim is just, I love Kim. You know, I still talk to Kim. That's why she's my biggie smalls, because she's smaller than me.
Yep.
I mean, she's the one who gave me that name, Hugo Boss, you know? I love Kim. And she really felt like a big sister. She really, truly was. Like, that is that word, a big, that's what she was for me. And,
yeah,
you know, like I said, those first 2 semesters, yeah, you do meet a lot of people and, you know, you get involved here and there, but Greek life, that really just thrusts you into everyone all at once. And then you do, you know, your socials and all of this and formals and, you know, so it was exciting. And it was kind of, I mean, I got to get the thesaurus out and find another freaking word for overwhelming. But, you know, I guess it was kind of exciting though, because meeting so many people and so many guys and so many girls from different sororities, like people that I probably wouldn't have met if I hadn't joined Greek life. You know what I mean? Because it does give you that opportunity.
100%.
Oh yeah, to do different things that you wouldn't do if you weren't, I guess, in that sphere of social.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's a good transition right there, that we started doing so many things that maybe we wouldn't have done before. And one of the outlets that kind of all of us had, when I was going back, looking through photographs, trying to find pictures of us, it was always parties, house parties, and music festivals. And I think we talked a little bit about the setup that we kind of had when we got into the Buck compound, where we had one house that was ours. It was a 5-bedroom party house where we had like these keggers that were just insane. But then right behind us was the Ain house there, not the Buck house. I will take that to my grave. And it was this massively huge house to where we would drain the pools and have these crazy parties there. And, you know, it would be at all times of the day. You know, we'd go out to the bar and be like, hey, let's just bring everybody back to the house and bring some kegs back and let's have a rager. Or, you know, we have bottles at the house. Let's do that. And it snowballs. You know, what about college do you miss the most, and what do you kind of not miss about it? And kind of that overwhelming. Oh, other words for overwhelming.
Oh, thank you.
Overcoming, overpowering, oppressing. These don't sound right.
Oh my God, that's the
Whelming?
opposite.
How could...
Okay, so whelming and overwhelming. I was whelmed.
I was whelmed.
I'll just start saying that instead. I was whelmed.
Astonished, surprised, astounding, amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, yeah. Did you pull it up? It looked like you were typing.
I did pull it. Yeah. I'm not naming these things.
I was whelmed.
I'll just use that.
I was whelmed. Anyways, about college, you know, what did you miss the most, and what did you not miss at all?
Damn, I'm not gonna lie. The youth. The ability to just wake up that next day after partying so hard and just be like, okay, got class at, 8 a.m, and I feel like I could do 8 cartwheels. Like, no big deal.
Those 8 a.m. classes, not hungover. Like, I miss days now when I drink.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
it takes me like 2 business days at least.
Getting up at 8? Get out of here. There's no getting up at 8:00 after a night of drinking. I haven't drank in a long time, but like that's part of it. Like I was tired of waking up like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, youth is great. Like
The youth
is that's a great answer. I miss the people. I miss the people a lot. That like I still talk to a lot of them, but the ones I don't, I try to get a hold. Like there's one of my fraternity brothers, Henry Ball. I can't get a hold of him no matter how hard I try. Like I'm just like he was my pledge brother, and I'm like, man, I miss you. And everybody called him Hank, and I'm just like, I miss you, bro. Like, where are you? But people, mine would be people. I think.
I agree. It was just such a different time to like where you could wake up and maybe you didn't want to go to class and you could just text, hey, you want to go to the bar at 10 a.m. Want to come over and start drinking or let's go play basketball. Let's go to the gym. Want to come over and play video games. Like, let's go to the pool. There was just so much freedom. And with that freedom, you also had such an immense social circle around you to where like opportunity was endless to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was like the networking of a fraternity or a sorority where you have access to all these people that you didn't previously.
Yep. And just like you said, like the freedom, the ability to do whatever, the lack of responsibilities, I guess, obviously you had school and things that you had to do, but
that was it.
Not like today, not as adults, and we have bills and this and that, and
Yeah. School was it. That was the only thing you had to worry about for the most part. I mean, I'm sure you bills or whatever, but like minuscule. Everything was so minuscule back then. I'm like, oh, I wish I had those problems now.
I know,
Are you
exactly.
kidding me? I got to figure out how I'm going to cram for this test now. I wish that was my biggest problem. Like that would be like, oh, okay.
Like even our jobs, well, at least mine was like working at a bar. So it's like, oh, I got to go to work again. Well, no, I get to go to the bar and hang out with all my friends, but I'm going to get paid for it. And I was going to say I'm not going to drink, but I'm still going to drink.
Lies.
I'm just going to stand there and be security, I guess.
It's like, I didn't know C-Rod. Like I never got to meet that person. So.
Well, it was fun.
Well, before I don't know. I would love to kind of get into some of these wild stories, but before we,
I was just about to ask her about her favorite memory.
Yeah. I think that's a good question. But before we get there,
okay, all right.
The first we met each other in 2009, and when I met you, you're with Kim and. Anybody that went to college with me knows that, like, Kim and I, yes, she was dating Alvaro, but we called each other, like, boyfriend and girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously love Alvaro. I love Kim. It wasn't anything other than, that was just the name that we gave each other. We were always together. I actually texted her and was like, hey, I want you to come on the podcast simply so I can share some of these gems that I found, because every picture that I was looking at for you, was like 15 of Kim in that same album or in that same time frame. And I kind of got to thinking, because I remember this, and it clearly shows on Facebook that our posts went from 2009 to 2010, and then they were just kind of gone until 2012. And from my recollection, I know that you joined the sorority, you were with Kim all the time, and then you were just kind of gone for a few years, and I don't remember, or I don't know if it was ever discussed or talked about or whatever, but I kind of call that the Hugo gap years, because while I remember you being so fun, I also remember that you were just kind of absent, and I'm not sure if something happened with the sorority or if you just had different friends, personal growth. Are you able to talk about that time and maybe what happened?
Yeah. So, sororities are incredibly expensive, at least back then. They're even more expensive now. But I was paying for it myself, I come from, my mom was a single parent, so we struggled. And so I was paying for it by myself, and that was tough. So I was scraping by off of my work study and working at bars and donating plasma, for Christ's sake. Like, I was doing anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like, you know, whatever I could, basically.
To pay your sorority dues?
Yeah. And just to like eat because I was a broke college student, you know? So, you know, it just got to a point where it was like really difficult to keep up with the dues. So I just was like, I can't do it anymore. And at that point, I thought I was going to maybe transfer to FSU. So there was just like a lot of things in play. So initially I was going to transfer to the chapter over there. And then I didn't transfer at all. I stayed at UCF. And then I was like, you know what? I can't afford to be in Zeta anymore. So I just dropped. And unfortunately, that's the one thing that is like the drawback. It's like you're in it and you do meet so many people and you are so involved. But then the second you're out, it's like that piece of you gets taken as well. You know what I mean? So it's like
I want to say I do, but I don't. You know, like, for example, real quick, when we got kicked out of the fraternity, well, some of us got kicked out, some didn't. It just kind of ended, but we didn't like lose the friends that we made. Like even ones that stayed with Kappa Sig, we're like, oh, we still know each other or whatever. So is that just different from a sorority, a woman's standpoint?
I feel like, yeah, I think it's a little different in terms of a sorority versus a fraternity. Because I do think that, I mean, it's just like with women, you know, things can get a little bit more superficial, you know, because I didn't really know all of my sisters, like the way that I had with my core group of girls, of women that I was friends with. But then, you know, with that, because I wasn't hanging out necessarily, because I wasn't going to chapter every Sunday and I wasn't going on the socials and, you know, doing the mixers and all of that. So you kind of then get feeling left out. And so then you're trying to fill that time with other things, whether that's hanging out with your roommate or then hanging out with other friends. And you just start to like drift apart with those people. And then you start seeing them less and less. And then, you know, that just is kind of how it goes.
More or less you become an afterthought because you're not active.
Right.
It's not anything in particular. It happened in our chapter too. I mean, if people had to drop, we obviously you try. I don't know how big your chapters were. Like how big was your chapter?
I mean, UCF is massive.
Yeah.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Classes
like, I don't
were
like
huge.
Yeah, I know. So like how your hundreds or like.
I mean,
we probably had 40. 50.
Okay. Yeah, like the biggest our actives were ever was like 25. Like we were bringing in pledge classes almost bigger than our active.
I'm saying the pledge class, my pledge class size was 40 or 50. We probably had 100 plus active brothers in the house at one time.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy to me. Yeah, you couldn't know everyone. There's no way.
Yeah.
And it makes it very easy for that to happen at that point. Like they're more of a number than a person at that point. Especially for dues and stuff, because yeah, I was a treasurer. I know exactly how it all works. It sucks. Like that part of it is the worst. Like,
and then there's like a sense of shame to it, that aspect, because like you can't afford it, and you know that there's those girls in the sorority that are like, obviously they're wealthy because you're in a sorority, and so then there was like a sense of like embarrassment on my part, and when I'm embarrassed or like if I, you know, that's just how I am. When I'm in a certain place, I dig myself into a little hole and I stay there, and that's it. You know. So that's just kind of where I was at. And I started hanging out with a different group and I started dating this guy, and he was in Sigma Nu. Is that what he was in? I think.
Huh. That's dirt.
Well, if anyone's listening, I'm sorry. But I was hanging out with them at the time.
I'm not. I'll tell them to their face.
Well, I'm just saying to anyone potentially listening out there.
Fair enough. On your side, I got it. I understand.
Listen, my heart lies with Kappa Sig. Okay, but let's make that very clear.
That was gonna be one of my questions. Was Chris's fraternity your favorite?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, that's who I spent all my time with. Were these boys, you know? But yeah. So I was hanging out with Sigma Nu a lot at the time, and those like in that gap year, and yeah,
they don't click.
Yeah. It was like a weird.
It was weird because like, you know, one second you were there all the time and then you were like gone. And I think what I don't wrap my head around is, you know, Zeta. My little sister was a Zeta. Some of my favorite girls were Zetas. Some of my best friends, especially like Kim, and Like, even when I would hang out with Kim at the bars and stuff, I still wouldn't even, like, see you out a lot of the times. Or you wouldn't be at house parties, even if, like, Alvaro and Ben and Fruckman and all of them were there. You had truly, gone in a different direction, especially, like you mentioned, with a different group of friends or a different group of girls that you were hanging out with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't really till I started working at Roxy. Remember that?
Yep. Yep.
It wasn't until I started working there and really getting back into like that nightlife aspect. And then they did Takeover Tuesdays because I always worked freaking Tuesday. And I started getting into EDM. And then I forget how I really ran into everyone. But then I started hanging out with like Michelle and that crowd. And then that's how I kind of got roped back into the group and saw everyone again. Right. And then it was just like no time had passed.
Yeah. And none at all. Like literally none at all. You were just kind of back. And I think that's where we transition into our EDM phase as a whole. Mm-hmm. We started going to the music festivals and we started going to, like you said, Takeover Tuesdays where the DJs started blowing up and they started having EDM raves, open raves. It wasn't like warehouse raves that they were doing previously, but they were like started promoting rave nights at clubs and stuff. And I think that this segues to one of it's probably a different moment for me, but one of my favorite festivals I had ever gone to. It was actually my first music festival because when everybody decided to go to Bonnaroo for the first time, I wasn't about it yet. I wasn't feeling it yet. I wasn't into that scene or doing those things. And I really missed out because I've never been to Bonnaroo, and I know Bonnaroo's changed and they had like an amazing time it would have been like 2010 or 2011 Bonnaroo. But ID Fest. So Tampa decided to throw their hat in the ring and try a music festival, which so many companies were booming and festivals were starting to come up because Ultra was gaining all this momentum and Bonnaroo and Coachella. So they started doing these smaller music festivals, and there was this music festival. It was only 1 year. It was ID Festival, and I remember that it was headlined by Cascade and
Wolfgang Gartner.
Deadmau5 was there. Wolfgang Gartner was there. Pretty Lights, maybe.
Maybe I can't remember.
I don't know. I don't know, but it was like the lineup. If you were to go back and like think about the people that were there, like this lineup was great. It was a cheap festival. It was at the amphitheater, and they just kind of had people at different spaces, and you can walk around everywhere. So we got this group together, and I want Kris to tell this story from her side because her side was very different. And from where I'll end is before we went, I think we went with a group of maybe 15 or 20 people, all from Orlando. We drove over, we got hotels, we carpooled. One car went early because we didn't have like work or other priorities. So we went the day before. And then we had another car, which was Kris's car, but I'll kind of let her tell the rest of the story.
Oh God. I'm already feeling whelmed. Okay. Well, I remember too because the day before I had to take a final and I was like, damn, I nailed that shit. I definitely aced that. And as I was leaving, a ladybug landed on my leg and I was like, this is great luck. And tomorrow we're leaving for the festival. Oh, this is a great start to the weekend. Can't wait. Life is great. Little did I know. Wake up the next day. We're so pumped to go. It was me, my boyfriend at the time, Michelle, Eric, and maybe Tyler was in the car?
Alvaro?
I don't know if Alvaro was in the car. It was either Alvaro. Maybe it was Alvaro. I think it was.
I think it was.
I think it was the five of us. And I was driving my little Dodge Neon at the time. Oh. And we're getting packed up. They all come to my house.
5 people in that thing?
Yeah. It was, it was comfortable. Let's just say it was very cozy in there.
I'm glad you're driving. That's probably the best thing.
Yeah.
On I-4.
I-4, no less. Well, first we had to take the 408 from where I was, because I was in Avalon Park at the time. That's where I lived. So I had to take 408 to I-4. Even better. or no, sorry, 417 to I-4, whatever the hell. I can't even remember the roads anymore. And so everyone had come to my place first, and we like pre-gamed a little bit, real safe. But it started to rain. And I was like, oh, it's fine. We're going to get there on time. We got plenty of time. It'll stop by then. Pause for effect.
We're at the festival texting them.
Yeah.
Where are you guys at? The gates are
not
open.
Yet,
the show's
not yet.
starting.
Not yet. No, this was still early enough because it was still like in the morning-ish time, something like that. And we get on the road, and I'm like getting on to an on-ramp, and it's raining, and it's not like pouring down cats and dogs, but it's raining just enough. And I don't know. I press on my brakes. I'm not even speeding, mind you. And just to preface this, I wasn't drunk or anything like that because I know I said we were pre-gaming. Like I had like a beer, They were all drinking in the back. We had gotten a 24-pack so they could drink like on the way up and all that. My back tire, for some reason, just decides to say, let's go hydroplaning. Fun. And my bumper like runs into like the cement barrier, and it's just enough to like bounce off and do like a little like go-kart action. And it was not like a huge crash, but it was just enough to startle and rattle us where we were like, oh fuck, what just happened? Like my tire like went inwards, like the front one where the car wasn't going anywhere after. So we had just enough like to pull up after the on-ramp where we're like, shit, what do we do now? So we're like, let's call AAA. Maybe they'll get here. We'll get back to my house and we'll take someone else's car. No big deal, right? AAA, we're waiting. Of course, back then that took forever. Probably now we could have just called an Uber and it would have been a lot quicker. So we're sitting there on the side of the road and everyone else is like, well, we're just sitting here. Let's pop open some beers because they had the 24-pack in the back. And who decides to pull out? OPD. Because they saw us there and they were like, oh, you were in an accident. Are you okay? And we were, my boyfriend at the time, like he saw them coming and he ran with that box and he like threw it in like the trees, like in the bushes and off the side, like in the ditch. And we all were like, we're fine. We're good. Like we just I hydroplaned and like hit the barrier. It's fine. Whatever. Meanwhile, the whole time I'm shaking because I was terrified. Like that was like really my first car accident. And I felt bad that I had a car full of people. And we're supposed to be on our way to the music festival. And at this point, now we'd have been waiting for an hour. Chris is starting to text us and being like, where are you guys? We're like, how much longer? We're like,
Because the festival's going on now. It started early.
Now it's starting to be like time's passing and it's getting longer. Well, who happens to get on the highway and passes us? Like, they must have seen us from the other side, I think, because then they got off and came around. It was Tyler and maybe Miguel or something. Like, two people saw us, two of our friends, and got off, came and got us, picked us up, and brought us back to my house. And we got in the car and drove the 4 hours to Tampa from there. Or the 2.5, whatever, because it took longer with it was still raining.
It's like 3 with traffic.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and rain.
It was insane. And the whole time I was having such an anxiety attack because I was like, we're late. I had an accident. Are my friends okay? Like, oh my God, we're late. I'd wanted to go to this festival. Now everyone's like having a horrible time. Like, oh. And we finally get there and like the service must have been shit or something because like my texts weren't going through to him and like he's trying to get in contact with us and we couldn't find him. And I remember distinctly because it was Wolfgang Gardner playing because I was so excited to see him. And I don't know, it was like one of those moments of like magic, where like the crowd seemed to part and all of a sudden, who do I see standing right there in the middle of the crowd? And Wolfgang Gardner is like going off like, and it was like his set must have just started and it's just C-Rod standing right there and he just like turns around and he sees us and it was like, yes, you made it. Oh my God. It was...
You weren't even worried about your car. It was all your friends and everything else. Right. Not one time did you were like, I worried about the car. She's just like, no, it's fine. We'll worry about it later.
Yeah, I didn't care about the car at that point. It was like, I'll figure that out after. It was just like, is everyone okay? Like, I felt so bad. I still have PTSD to this day of driving in the rain from that accident from that day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the funny thing to me is us being so young, and I texted this to you, is just that your thought was get to Tampa, get to the festival. And like if that were to happen in today, like tomorrow, you'd be like, oh, I'm going home. I'm gonna crawl up in bed. Like I'm gonna
these
deal with my
tickets
car
right now. They're going on StubHub right now.
Yeah, sorry,
I'm not going.
I can't go now.
Completely different mindset of, hey, I just crashed my car. I'll deal with it later because I need to get to this music festival.
Yeah. Oh, that's tomorrow's problem.
Yeah.
Today we gotta go party. Let's go.
We're getting there.
I gotta go get my car off the side of the highway.
AAA's got it.
Shit.
It'll be fun.
Oh shit, Nick, have you been to music festivals? Have you been a part of the scene? What's your experience with that?
We one of my frat brothers lived in Manchester, Tennessee after college, so Bonnaroo was definitely a thing. Because that is where they are. That's where they host it, and he can sign you up to work it. So you get to go to Bonnaroo for free, and then work it at a beer tent all day, and then see the headliners at night. So it's actually a pretty good gig. He doesn't live there anymore, so that was cool. But around those times, like it was like 2010, 2011, those times. No, I love EDM and all that. Not necessarily the Transformers fucking, but the rest of it's pretty good.
Is that a dig at the music sound?
Come on, dude. Like that's not music. That's just noise.
Dude,
like
you gotta go back and listen to 2011's Skrillex. The man was
no, that's what I'm
fire.
saying. No, like that stuff's not bad. But I'm talking like that is probably the exception of that for me anyway.
I mean, one of my favorite festival memories, and Chris, you were there, was one of the years that we went to Ultra, and it was Ultra 2013. Like we're seeing bingo players and Calvin Harris on day sets, like they hadn't become main headliners who they were, and I so I say this, sorry mom, I probably took enough Molly to kill a small child at that music festival, and I will put my foot in the ground here. It is one of my favorite party things to do. In today's world, I would never, because everything is laced with fentanyl. But like, it was to the point where my roommate was selling it in college, and it was just so easy to get to, even more fun for me than like cocaine. But that I just remember. Like hand being at this festival, hand in hand, the experience of Ultra 2013, and it was probably because I didn't have money to kill a small child, but it was just something I'll never forget. The way that we were raging, bingo players, Calvin Harris, like there was just so many good memories from being in Miami before they changed Ultra up. What festival memory kind of feels the most vivid or sticks out for you, Chris?
That's tough because there are so many from that era. That was a fun time. That was a really fun time.
There's so many.
Between the festivals and like the nightclub shows that we would go to, and like seeing so many DJs before they were literal like world global icons, when they were just playing little Roxy shows, I would have to definitely say like that Cascade set at Ultra was probably one of my favorites when it started to like lightly rain and we were all holding hands and we were like singing along. That
had to be amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I'm like just picturing the rain hitting me in that state. Oh my god,
we were like, I love you. You're the best. This is the best moment. Like that was one of those, we'll definitely never forget moments, that and the Atmosphere tour when we went to see him, strictly just him at Bayside.
Was that at Bayside?
Mm-hmm.
Or was that at that was in the arena?
We saw him again. That was a separate one. Maybe we saw him twice. The one outdoors at Bayside
was at Bayside. The Rain was not Ultra.
Oh my god, I'm getting them confused. Are you sure?
The Rain was...
I'm pretty sure the Rain was Ultra.
I'm pretty sure the Rain... I don't know now.
Mm-hmm.
This is all about Molly. This is all that Molly.
The rain was ultra, and then because
this is why you don't do Molly, kids.
I remember holding hands with you and Alvaro, and like you guys were on either side of me, and that was at Ultra because he didn't go to the one outdoors because you know who was at the Bayside one, and then we went to the indoors one where we took the tri-rail, and that was at the stadium.
The tri-rail.
Yeah, and that was like post-college.
That was at the stadium. Yes.
That obviously was not raining.
Huh.
Why are you even trying, Chris? You already know that you're not going to remember. You have scoops.
He's trying. He's trying to, though.
I know. The smoke's coming out of his ears.
It's like that meme where like the math equations are floating in front of his face. He's like,
fuck you guys. No, because because Cascade was a headliner, and I'm looking at it, and we weren't at the. He was a Saturday, week 1 headliner. He wouldn't have been at the side stage. I really think that was his Atmosphere tour. We're gonna have to reach out to people who were there.
I think it's just going to be pointless. You're all going to remember the same thing.
All I know, there's definitely a moment with Cascade, the rain, holding hands.
Right, boom, you'll remember the moments. The rest of it's semantics.
Yeah, who cares which one it was? It was one.
Like, which one was it? It was like, it doesn't matter. The one we were in the rain holding hands.
Yeah.
That one. Wherever that
we
one.
saw Cascade like 17,000 times, so it doesn't matter.
We did.
They were all special.
Yeah.
Facebook will know. Jesus Christ.
What I miss music festivals so much, and Molly aside, the thing that I loved about music festivals is that God, this is so embarrassing. So I used to glove. I used to do. Yes,
he did.
Nick.
He did. Don't look surprised. He was good.
I did not expect.
Nobody does. Nobody does. So
no, I know exactly what it is.
I joined late to the festival party, and when I went to like one of my first festivals, I got quote unquote what's called getting blown up, and I just remember it being like the coolest thing ever. Granted, again, Molly aside, it was just the light effects that were around it, and just like the people being around you. And I remember like one time at Ultra, I was gloving somebody and doing this thing, and all of a sudden like somebody comes and sits next to them. All right, well now I'm doing 2 people, and then somebody, and now all of a sudden there's like 6 people, and I'm just like, gloving, and everybody's just having a great time, and it was just like the community, the connection. They say plur, peace, love,
just gonna
unity,
say plur.
and respect. Yeah, we were making friendship bracelets, and I was meeting so many people because, at any music festival, there's always somebody who just wanders off on their own at some point. Like, you turn around and they're just not there anymore. And that was 100% me, because I would have my gloves on and I'd be like, oh, let me go walk over here. And now all my people are gone. So I would meet so many people, and that was like my favorite part of music festivals. What would you say, how did music festivals kind of shape your view on community? Did you think that it was, a connection, a bonding moment, or did you think that it was, just the drugs and the music? And what was kind of your aspect on that?
I mean, it was definitely community for sure. It was a way for all of us to hang out and listen to good music and make memories. I mean, we're sitting here talking about it now. Those are things that stick with me to this day. 10 years later. I might not remember everything because my memory's not as great as it used to be, but I remember Cascade in the Rain. Whether it was that Atmosphere or Ultra.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna, despite you, Nick, I'm gonna figure it out.
Your thing was gloving.
I don't care.
My thing was shuffling. I used to love to shuffle.
Way cooler. That's way cooler.
But if I tried to do that nowadays, I would be like, I look stupid. My
buddy Chad shuffles, and I'm like, man, I wish I could fucking do that. It's
It
way
was so
cooler
much
than-
fun because there
Do
was like
you-
zero inhibitions, you know, like, and you just like go to
Yeah.
the music and have such a good time.
Mhm.
I loved it.
Do you think that you would feel stupid just because you were more free back then? You didn't care how people saw you dance, or just do you think that you cannot shuffle anymore?
That's a good question. Maybe a little bit of both, because I still don't really care about what people think about me, and I do stupid stuff to this day. Like I
So
really
say shuffle. I
you
say
know?
stay shuffling.
I think it's more so because probably my
Same.
body, I'm like, ugh, I'm tired. Like, I don't know if I have the same moves, you know?
Stand up and shuffle for us. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. They can't see it, but I'm doing it right now, and I'm really good at it. I still got my moves.
Killing it. I was like, the music too, right? Like, there's a lot, like, you have to be in that mindset to,
Oh yeah.
or be around it to even be able to do it. Like I said, my buddy Chad, he'll bust it out, but like not all the time. It's like you can not nowadays anyway.
Every day I'm shuffling. You and Alvaro were the dancing king and queen for sure. For sure. Okay, here's one. Mr. Miyagi. Do you remember him?
Of course. How could I ever
What is
forget?
this?
He had all of our extra I made him a special candy bracelet just for him.
You did. So, I had this. I don't want to say life size, but it was a very large. I don't know, maybe like 4-foot lion. I don't remember
Like
where
from
I
a
got
fair or something.
it. No, like it was a legit lion. It was probably 5 feet. Like you could lay with it, you could sleep with it. I don't know if it was a gift from a girlfriend. I don't know if my parents got it for me. I don't know if I bought it just to buy it. I don't think I bought it. But at some point, it started. It came to me with college. I may have had it in high school. I don't know. But at some point, it got to be like when people would get drunk, they would fall asleep with it, or they would cuddle it, or it would come to like music festivals with us. And he just became like this comfort animal because none of us had like dogs or anything. And he was just like always around in the corner for parties, and people would sexually assault him, or people would cry with him, or they'd sleep with him. He went through it all. I had a guy try and steal him from a party and ended up like, I ended up chasing him like down the street of my house, yelling at him like we're both hammered, "Give me my lion back!" And he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna take this thing. You're never gonna see it." I ended up getting it back, thankfully.
I would have been if I was one of your brothers. I would have had that thing stolen every semester by the pledges, every semester, and it would have been mine every semester, and you would have had to get it back. Like, oh my god! If I knew that, oh god, in a heartbeat, yeah. The only way the only way you're getting in, you got to steal that fucking lion. The only way you're getting in.
he survived.
Sounds like a lot. It sounds like he survived an awful lot.
He's actually one of the things that Kato has humped. Kato is my dog, for those who don't know. And Kato has been great to where he never like humps things. And I remember one Christmas when Kinsley was like just born, I remember coming out, the Christmas trees lit up, and here's Kato humping this stuffed lion, and I'm like, dude, you've never like humped anything. He's like 2-year-old puppy at the point still, and he's just going to town on Mr. Miyagi. He survived the birth of my first child. I want to say I probably got rid of him maybe when we were like 2 or 3. Kelsey probably wanted him out of the house. You know, get this old dirty lion out of here, because at this point I don't think I ever cleaned him.
It's probably disgusting.
Oh yeah, he's probably nasty.
Oh my god.
But he became kind of like our mascot, and
he was.
And we always meow at each other and roar at each other. It was just definitely a good core memory and something that I've always associated with our friendship, especially within pictures.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of, I mean, we could sit here and talk about college, and we could talk about music festivals and get into any crazy stories. I guess, Nick, I'll let you ask your one question before we get out of the college years.
Callback. Let's look at that callback. We're professionals here. What was your favorite memory of, I guess, C-Rod in college?
Oh gosh, my favorite memory of C-Rod.
If you have to pick one.
If I have to pick one.
Gun to your head. You gotta pick one.
That's tough. I would say probably one of my favorite ones is like one of the first Kappa Sig parties I went to was that shipwrecked party. And it was right after.
Oh, that was a good one.
That was a really good one. It was right after I had just joined SETA. So, and it was like a couple weeks in. So I was like at least familiar with the Kappa Sig boys. And I went over to the house, and this party was probably, this is an outdated phrase, but lit, you know? That's showing my age. And Mr. C-Rod over here was, and there was a picture of it, and we took a picture, and you can just see us. We are so sweaty. It's like it's not great. But he was so hammered. Okay, this kid, and like you see him, he's a big guy, you know. And I just remember him freaking running around this house like a chicken without a head, just drunk, and it was, I don't know. It's just, those are some of my best memories. Is this guy being drunk, but he was never like embarrassing. You know what I mean? Like he still was able to
just being like
keep it together.
The life of the party.
Yeah. Because you know. There was some people who can't hold their liquor, so
can't hang.
I do pride myself on not what's the word?
Throwing up,
vomiting,
being
being
whelmed.
Word.
Yeah, being whelmed. Being whelmed physically. Yeah.
No, that so shipwrecked. I think that might have been the last shipwrecked party, because then after that, we weren't allowed to have parties anymore on campus. Shipwrecked was like our big annual Halloween costume party at the house.
Mine was 7 Deadly Sins, and it was full liquor. There was no beer, and it was literally just 7 stations of shots, and you saw how many times you can go around the world.
Jesus,
it's called Around the World. Yeah, it was insane.
That sounds terrible.
The first time that I wasn't work, so the first time I went, I was a pledge, so I had to I couldn't enjoy it the way I did the second year. The second year, I was a voodoo doll, so I had a onesie and a helmet, and the Velcro pins you could put everywhere. So the women loved it. It was great. But 2 hours in, I was blacked out. I had already vomited in the helmet.
Oh, there you go.
Threw it away.
He was
I threw it away, and then I had the onesie down at my waist, and I had my letters on, and I'm just out on a deck at a bar that we rented in downtown Jacksonville. Oh yeah, it was great. And then we got back to the campus, and I remember getting off the bus, and I'll never forget Timmy coming up to me, goes, "You hear that ambulance? That's for you. Suck it up." And I'm like, "All right." And so I get in don't know how I got up to a 3rd-story apartment across the campus. Like, I don't remember most snapshots of that night. And so I was like, all right, yeah. But yeah, it was like the only time I ever threw up at one of my parties. It was the first one, and I went so hard. I was at the ice luge. Jimmy Sapp was a Viking, and I was down at the bottom going like this, just come on. For like 20 seconds, dude, I'm chugging vodka. Oh. I am literally just chugging straight vodka, dude. And I get up like this, and I'm like, oh yeah, it was blueberry vodka or whatever. But it was insane, dude. It was.
Yeah, I think so. That party was so wild. I think if I remember correctly, me and my roommate were talking to 2 girls that lived on campus. And I think after Shipwrecked, we ended up staying the night in their dorm in our costumes, in our crazy sweaty things. Things were ripped off. And I just remember taking the walk of shame the next morning, like having to go from the campus dorms back to the fraternity house. But like when I tell you, we have maybe like 60% of our clothes on because like things were ripped off, and not from the wild night with the girls, but the wild night at the fraternity house,
party.
And like we were taking like the opposite walk of shame, like through the courtyard and everything, and I just that was a great party.
Dressed like pirates and like
Half pirates, like
pirates.
third pirates, like they're all ripped up pirates.
Any other probing
That's
questions
crazy.
for college, Nick, before we move on?
Oh no, like you said, we could keep talking about this for hours. Like
we'll have more
between
college
all of
people
us and all of our
you can pry into.
experiences. Yeah, it's very neat to see though, like the similar yet different experiences we've all had in that time, and it has something to say for the institution, I guess, of college.
After college, though, people start moving out of Orlando, right?
Oh yeah.
A lot of people, we said, were in South Florida. Some people moved out of state, around the country, and one of the things that I always appreciated about you was your willingness to show up for reunions, right? Whether it was so the beach trips that we took, like when I'd come down south, or showing up at a bar to watch a UCF game. I have a picture of you holding Kinsley when she's won at one of the 4th of July pool parties that we had.
She peed in my lap.
And she peed in your lap?
She peed in my lap.
I don't remember that.
Yeah. That was.
Is that why you took her in the pool?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, because she was sitting in my lap and she was being so cute, and we were sitting there, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, she's pissing right now. She's peeing in my lap, and I was like, well, I guess we're gonna go in the pool, and then yeah.
Hey, at least you were in our bathing suits, and we were at the pool. So, she's a good girl, but
a core memory.
As you grow away from college, it gets much harder to hang out with people. Like, even if you'll be in their town, people wouldn't show up, but you constantly showed up to these reunions, and like I said, it was something that I always appreciated, something that always stuck with me. I don't remember the last time we've seen each other. It's definitely been a few years now at this point, because I haven't been down south. But anytime we do get together, like, it's so easy to reconnect with you. Talk to me about, was it important for you to kind of keep showing up for those reunions after college? And if so, why? Or, what about it was like, hey, I'm going to keep hanging out with these people, keep seeing them, and keep putting that effort in?
Yeah. So, growing up, I went to 2 elementary schools and 3 middle schools, I want to say. Sounds about right. So I was always like the new girl, and I always had to like make friends that, every couple of years. So especially in middle school, I was just like always meeting new people. So once I finally got to high school, it was nice to settle in for 5 seconds and actually have like that group of friends. And that carried on into college. And I still talk to them today, but I'm not as close with them. There was some growing apart with some people due to some issues or whatever. But I feel like that's also just different stages, different seasons of life. Like, you're so young, you grow into a totally different person once you go into college. And so I feel like once I went to college and I kind of, grew more into myself as a woman and into, what I wanted to do with my life and who I am, and explored, all avenues of like my education and traveling and et cetera, et cetera. I felt like, finding that group of people and people who really identified with things that I was interested in, not just like, because we happen to go to the same high school. Like, these were people that you kind of choose to be in your circle. That it was important to me because I was always that new girl. It was like, okay, all of these people that I've also known have always had these friends like, oh, we've been friends since kindergarten. I'm like, that's nice. I don't have that, So to me, it was always important to want to have to show up. Not to have to, but to want to show up. When you would be like, oh, hey, I'm in town. Do you want to get together? And like, hell yeah. Like, I don't get to see you very often. So of course I'm going to go. Let's go watch the game. Yeah, let's go to the beach. Like, And I just feel like that's
I'm working.
also...
Come visit me at this bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's also part of being a good person. I feel like in today's society, a lot of people tend to be flaky and wishy-washy and like, oh yeah, let's do something, let's, we should get together, and then like you never follow through, or like, let's set it up, and it's like 8,000 Tuesdays from now, and then it gets to that Tuesday, and then it's like, I don't feel like it, Yeah. And I mean, I'm guilty of that every once in a while, but I don't know. It's just important to me to like want to show up. I think that's an important quality to have for friends and just for people in general. So
thoughtfulness, absolutely.
Yeah.
And like I said at the top of the podcast or the episode, one of the most kind and thoughtful people that I keep in my social circle. So it definitely translates. And the thing that I want to kind of transition into now is Hugo today, right? We talked about kind of the growth, the evolution, going through the gap years in college and having that party life, but outside of college and now as adults, you have a much different, I guess, outlook on life. You have a lot more things going on, and one of the things I always loved following you for was your business and your fashion forward. You had a photography business, if I'm correct, or maybe you still do. I know that at one point you were starting a clothing business. I don't know whatever happened with that, but I'd like to talk to me about who you are today. Talk to me about those creative outlets and kind of the businesses that you're working through.
Yeah. So my first love is and always will be to travel. That's always my number one goal, main thing in life. I believe it's super important to, see the world and explore and meet new people, eat new foods, see new things. That's my number one thing. So if I can and whenever I'm willing and if I'm healthy enough, that's always what I want to do. There's numerous countries I still need to see and food I need to eat. Yep. So, that's always been since college, because I did drop out, I guess, in a way. I had some things going on. And that's one thing too that I've always appreciated about our friendship is you've always been there to like check in on me, and when I've been going through tough times, you've always been someone that has kind of helped guide me to the light when I've been like in a dark spot, You've always been like, hey, how are you doing? You've been also thoughtful yourself. And again, nowadays, not a lot of people are like that. So it's, very, no, Kris, keep it together.
I was waiting for it.
Okay. Let's try this again. So, it means a lot to me. So in between like leaving school and then actually graduating school, I took a lot of time out to travel, to start to do that, because that was very important to me. And in that time, that's kind of where I rediscovered my love for photography. And I was like, this is how I see the world. I kind of view everything almost through like a lens of sorts, because I am such a creative person. So like I see everything in a very cinematic, I guess I would describe it, sort of way. I really appreciate the most minuscule of things and the littlest of details, like things that people might overlook. I'm like, but if you look at it like at a very like zoomed in way, like it's actually so incredibly beautiful. Like you just really, and I know it sounds so cliche, but like you have to just stop and stare and like smell roses. Yeah. You know what I mean? But that's what makes life worth living, because we do live in such like a fast-paced life nowadays, So all that traveling I did, the photography, like I got back, I started a freelance business. And so, I've done photography work, I've done graphic design work, and then that led me into working in hospitality. So I was working in bars, which also gave me the ability to travel quite a bit because it's a lot more flexible. And then when I started to like reach my end of my 30s. Whoa! I'm not there yet.
We're not there. Well, I guess we're kind of there.
Excuse me. I just turned 35.
I am. I was like, I'm
just turned 35.
on the backside of my 30s.
End of my 20s. I gotta give
I'm the
myself some time.
closest out of everyone. I'm the closest to 40. So it's.
I gotta give myself a little more time though. End of my 20s, I was like, I don't want to be a bartender forever, because like there are people in that industry that you do work with, and you're like, okay, if that's what you want to do, great. But I was like, I don't want to be behind a bar forever. So, even though my business freelance work isn't always like very stable, and then you have to look for it, and not to say that like I don't want to do that, but it's not as stable as actually having like a full-time job,
Yes.
So, 100. That's when I was like, let me find a full-time graphic design job, because I feel like that's even more comfortable than photography. And I don't want to ruin photography for myself. That's an actual passion of mine. Mm-hmm. And doing that like commercially, I didn't want to.
That's fair.
So that's what I'm doing commercially, like nowadays, 9 to 5 type of thing. And honestly, like sometimes I have to pinch myself, like, because I did just start this new job, but like one of the projects they just put me on is like designing, like updating new merch and swag for like trade shows and like for staff and stuff. And I'm like, this is so fun though. I can't believe like this is my job. Like this is what I get to do.
That's awesome.
Like, I don't know. It's, it's fun. Yeah. So.
Shoot, I might have some work for you.
Well, hey, I got my freelance business. That's what that LLC is for.
There you go.
So, full-time designer, but I got the LLC for my freelance stuff, which then leads into Spruce, which is the swimwear / resort wear line that my current boyfriend, he's the one that actually started it. It's his brainchild.
Okay.
But he knows nothing about like creative stuff, as I know nothing about actual design in terms of clothing.
So, the collaboration.
Yeah, I'm fashionable, but I don't know jack about actually like making a piece of clothing.
E-commerce.
Yeah. So, I was like making the brainchild of all like the marketing and the packaging and things like that for the actual brand. So we did launch September of, was it last year?
Last year.
Oh my God, time again.
I believe.
And we did really well.
We already bit plus models.
That's the thing is
plus
we are
size.
trying
Me and Chris
to.
Got you.
We are trying to. We don't want to just narrow it down because like he's been an athlete his like whole life, and his brother, like all of his friends, they all played football and stuff, and so it's always hard for them to find. It's always been harder for them to find like clothing because everything is more catered to a very like basic shape, I guess, and so that's kind of like the premise behind it, is to have a more flattering vintage sort of cut, but then also cater to more sizing,
What's the name? Where can people buy?
Spruce. Spruce, Sprewce. Spruce. That's where you can find it.
.com.
We did really well, we still have stuff available.
Did you forget the .com?
Oh no, spruce.com, sorry. Oh. Also on Instagram.
On the gram too, don't forget.
Yeah, we are on the gram. He is currently in the process of working on the pattern right now to make some adjustments because he is a perfectionist, as am I. So he really wants to make sure that the best product is out there for everyone, even though we've got really great feedback on everything. But, he just wants to make sure everything is as great as it can possibly be. And hopefully, our manufacturer is in Colombia, so we get to go down there every so often and work on stuff and go to trade shows, so that's fun.
That's awesome.
And,
Work on stuff.
Yeah, it's fun to sit there. And then, like, this little lady brings out her, like, little coffee and chocolates, and I'm like, I'm in Colombia.
What's the most rewarding project that you've worked on creatively?
Oh, man. Dang. That's always a tough question. Professionally or personally?
Either.
Personally, I would say just my general portfolio of photography, because it's called Nowhere in Particular. and it's all about my photography and the photos I've taken along my travels around the world. And so that's very near and dear to my heart because it really encapsulates all of my experiences and kind of puts it in a nutshell and like takes that moment so I can look back on it. But then I also really want to inspire people to explore the world. And then even if they're afraid to leave their house or their couch or whatever, maybe they at least can see it with their eyes and have that moment of like, wow, like even just a flicker of inspiration of wanting to be there, you know? So I'd say that would be my personal, but professionally, I would say I worked on this project for the Minions movie when I was working with Tupperware. And oh my God, that was like a months-long project. But I would design like product artwork and a bunch of like social media stuff and flyers, and it was insane. Like I've done stuff with Minions.
That's awesome.
Lessons in Chemistry TV show for Apple TV. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Amazon TV. So like I've worked with like a bunch of stuff for Tupperware, and it was really, really fun. So getting to work with those big brands was
really
great.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So where was your most favorite place you've traveled to?
Oh God.
And photographed.
Ooh, that's really, really tough. I'm gonna go top 3 because I've been to
that's
like
fine. If you can't narrow it down, that's perfect.
Yeah, because
How
I've
many
been
countries?
to like over 22, maybe 23, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So we're getting up there, you know.
Nice.
My first one that I really went to when I did my solo travel, so it's always going to have a very special place in my heart, is Nepal. And Chris,
Nice.
Chris actually, because I went to do a volunteer project over there. Chris actually helped donate money at the time because I was broke, and I was raising money to go over there and buy stuff to bring to the kids because I volunteered at an orphanage. And Chris at the time, this is just going back to show our friendship, he donated money to my trip, and I really appreciated that because that helped a lot. And I think it was like only $100 too, but like at the time, you know, when you're like 20 something and broke, like that really helps, you know?
Yeah.
So
That's huge.
Nepal was great because I did like bungee jumping and paragliding, and I did like a mountain flight around Mount Everest. So the picture I got of Mount Everest from the airplane.
Say Everest.
Incredible.
I was going to ask about Everest. Once you said Nepal, I was like, oh my God, that's awesome.
It was gorgeous. It was amazing. That was an unforgettable trip. And to go by myself, I was terrified. But I learned so much.
I thought your first trip was Iceland.
No. Mm-mm.
What? Didn't you go somewhere and like live out of the back of a
I
camper?
did. That's my second top is Iceland. That was
okay, so it is Iceland.
Yeah.
All right.
I did go to Iceland.
That's
after.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a few years. That was probably like almost 5 years after, I would say.
I thought that's where Nowhere in Particular started.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
Nope.
Shows how much I know.
Because I went to Nepal and then Thailand. That was my first like solo trip.
Thailand.
And then
Thailand
I did.
Is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, Thailand's
fun. I
fun.
want to do Muay Thai in Thailand so bad. I want to get my face beaten in by these little dudes. Just once.
Well, it might be a lady boy. I don't know. You never know.
It might be a lady boy.
Maybe. And you know what? F it. It's fine.
Did you happen to catch a ping pong show in Thailand?
I did. It was so much fun. It was so... You don't understand. It was
Hell
great.
Yeah.
It was great.
It sounds like a great time.
It was so much fun.
Okay, wait. I know that we're running a little longer, but I can't pass this opportunity up. Nick, do you know what a ping pong show is?
Yeah, I know what a ping pong show is.
What is it?
Hold on. I'm assuming I know what it...
Just tell me what you think it is.
They shove ping pong balls up somewhere and they shoot them out.
Okay. That is part of it. And Chris, tell me were you familiar with what a ping pong show was before you walked through the doors?
Absolutely not.
Oh, so you didn't know what you were walking into?
No. You think I knew?
Nice.
So listen, if you don't know what a ping pong show is, it is somewhere in Thailand. I forgot where it is on the strip, but you're walking around and there are literally guys with menus. And I say menus, Nick, because it is not just ping pong balls. Okay? They give you a menu of what is on the show and what things are coming out of these girls' vaginas. And they take you down a seedy, dark alley. They tell you that it's a free show or whatever. Then they bring you into this room, and they're like, "Oh, you have to buy a drink." And your first drink, and was this the same way for you, Kris? Where like they charged you like $60 for your first drink, and that was basally cover.
I was really drunk, so I couldn't tell you about that specific detail.
Female.
Yeah.
So I will never forget any of these. I recommend that you go to Thailand and go see a ping pong show. So we sit down, and the show's like an hour and a half long. But I just remember like we don't know what's going on, and so they charge us like $80 for the first drink, but that's like cover and everything. They tell you it's free, but then they like it's quadruple the first drink. Yeah.
It's just ruined herself for you.
Everything is normal price. Well, so the first thing that happens is like this dude comes out hard as a rock with a drum, and he's just banging his cock on a drum. We're like, all right, this is fucking weird. It's weird.
This wasn't on the menu, man.
This wasn't on the menu. And then like these girls come out, and like one girl has like a fish in her vagina. Another one has like razor blades.
Was it live? Was it a live fish?
Yeah, dumped it out like into the bowl. Razor blades, like took razor blades out and like cut things.
It's wild.
One had a bird come out, tweeted around, and then she put it back in and like walked off stage, dude. Like, we'll have to get Chris Sarametta back on because he was with me. But it was just like people holding balloons in the back of the room and like shooting darts at them. It was just
that sounds absolutely incredible. I can't believe you did this and not know, and you didn't know you were going to it. That's a shock. I thought it was just ping pong. That's a shock. I mean, Kris, you kind of knew what you were getting into. She went in blind. Like this, like that's an experience. Like
I also ate freaking what was it? Fried scorpion or something, like drunk on the street. Like like I was doing all kinds of things there, you know. So
that's fair. You did say early on you are a yes ma'am.
Yeah. So. So I'm just like, sure, why not?
So
sounds
makes
great.
Sense. Yeah, I'm down.
Especially when I'm abroad, like it's dangerous. I'm like, yes, let's go.
I'd probably go just for the experience, but I mean, you saw my facial reactions. I'm like, I'm sure that it'll be just the same when I'm witnessing it in person. Like, this is insanity. Like, what?
It's
the razor blades ones got me. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
You have to pay $80. They ruin themselves for your show, for your entertainment, Kris. So, yeah. 80, that's cheap, dude. That's cheap.
I don't, like I said, I have a terrible memory. Kris probably remembers every single aspect of that trip.
I'm sure he's got it written down in his journal somewhere. We'll have another 4-hour podcast about it. I'm down. I loved it. It was great. It was very informative. That one.
My last question, Hugo, is I always see you have like I believe you're a part of like a book club, and you host like themed parties, right? Are those tied together, or am I mixing two different things?
Both, sort of. I just love themed parties. My book club, we also love themed parties, so sometimes our book club meetings are themed. So sometimes they're one and the same, sometimes, and then we also like to all host themed parties. So yeah, kind of together, kind of separate. It just depends on what's going on.
Sometimes I'll see like your Instagram story or something, and like I'll have to watch the video like 2, 3, or 4 times because I'm like, oh, that's cool. Look at that.
The details.
You're such a it's in the details, like you mentioned. Myself, I am not creative at all. I can't make shit. I can't draw shit. I can't really do anything. But where do you kind of like get the inspiration to be so creative on a day-to-day and constantly find a way to like come up with new ideas or new things or new themes, whether it's for work or personal parties, whatever it might be? What's kind of like your process?
Well, my brain doesn't stop. So I guess that helps. It's just constantly firing on all cylinders in terms of like thoughts and ideas and creativity. So like I could just see something and it's like, boom. I'm also a very visual person. So, because there's, how some people, I just, ironically enough, kind of just discovered this recently because I thought everyone did this, where they see pictures in their head. Do you guys see pictures in your head? Oh my God, you don't see them, Chris?
Like photographs?
Yeah, like
picture in like a mind's eye, like I can.
Yeah.
Picture,
so if I said an apple,
yeah.
Can you see an apple in your head?
Yeah.
Chris, can you see an apple in your head?
That.
No.
Or do you just not? Do you not think of
saying.
it? Like I just learned that people don't really. There's a certain level of, I guess, of
or talk
visibility. Yeah. Like, I have an internal monologue.
How many people don't have an internal monologue? It's crazy.
Bitch, I'm talking to myself all day, every day, okay? And I see everything in my head. The second I have a thought, I'm like, oh, yes. Like, it's so visual.
To answer Chris's question, you're born with it, Chris. Like, the creative people are creative from jump, bro. Like, they don't stop.
He's mocking him, by the way, for those who can't see his face right now.
I used to be creative.
He's also got his eyes closed and he's trying to picture an apple.
Yes,
do it. So,
again, the math equations are floating past his head.
I can smell the smoke over here.
Before I joined a fraternity, I was very creative and I had a lot of brain cells.
Oh, you're blaming that, huh?
It was all that Molly.
Oh,
yeah, the
Jesus.
Molly. It took your creativity with the serotonin, huh? It took it all.
No, I love it. I love it all. I like I said, I love the creative aspect of it. You were definitely somebody that I watched travel that gave me kind of that wanderlust. You and Michelle Londono and so many other people that just have the inhibition to travel and make it happen, because it is so hard to travel internationally. Like, that Thailand trip is my only international travel, and I regret that so much because I wish I had the time and the money to like make these things happen. I know that's an excuse, but you make it happen. You said, what did you say, 29 countries, like 20 something countries? That's absolutely incredible.
Almost somewhere in that realm, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's like, I can't even. I'll probably never even visit that many countries like in my lifetime.
Yeah, you will.
My last question for you. Well, Nick, we're going to kind of wrap things up here. Did you have any other questions that you wanted to whelm Miss Kris with?
I mean, I don't want to make you cry, but how do you think your younger self would view who you are today?
Oh God, that one's immediately going to make me cry.
I know. I'm sorry.
Whew, okay. Well, younger Kris was had a tough childhood. Was always looking for validation and love. And always had that, oh my God, that innate curiosity about the world and life in general. And knew she was very creative, and had those questions of like, oh, am I supposed to go to college and do this, like live this normal life? Because you always feel like that's, life is supposed to go a certain way.
Yeah.
And I don't know, something about that just didn't feel like it was like the right path for me personally. And I know I had mentioned and touched on, like, there was, like, close friends from middle school that went to high school and college or whatever. That was, like, part of the reason why, like, I kind of grew apart from one of them, is because she kind of pushed back a little bit. And, like, she was like, well, what are you going to do? Like, it kind of seemed like she was sort of judging me for, like, the path I wanted to take versus what she was doing. And I don't know, that just rubbed me the wrong way. And so... yeah. I think younger me would be really, really proud of the fact that I've achieved my dreams of being a creative professional, I've traveled the world many, many times. God. I've become, I still have issues with that self-doubt and whatnot, but I definitely am way more confident in who I am and what I want, and I've overcome a lot of things in my life, and I'm still here. As Chris knows, I've gone through some really, really, really dark times where I almost wanted to call it quits. But I'm still here. Yeah. And
I'm glad you're here.
Me too.
Absolutely.
And I just think younger me would be so proud of how far I've come, how much I've grown, the things I've seen, the things I've experienced, and how much grace and love I've given myself. And how much I try to be there for others, because, growing up, I didn't necessarily have that from people, and I really feel like it's important to do that for other people. So, like I said, I want to show up for others. So, yeah. And there's the crying.
I just met you, and I'm sorry for that, but I just met you, and you have amazing energy and an amazing soul. So
thank you.
I'm glad I got to meet you.
Me too.
I'm super glad I got to meet you.
Well, I told you I'd cry.
Well, we're not
done.
done.
I'm so sorry.
I'm going to piggyback off his question and share to the listeners, the audience, what's one lesson from your journey that you want to put out there that somebody needs to hear? Hopefully, if somebody's listening, it strikes a chord with them. And then I'll let you stop crying.
Oh, God. I guess it's really to slow down. Give yourself grace in no matter what capacity, like whatever it is that you're going through, whether it's a good thing, a bad thing, whatever, grief, exciting new job, a new baby, whatever the case might be, is always give yourself grace, because, it always might feel like the world is crashing down on you or things are whelming, but I think it's important to slow down and truly, really, like I said, I know it's cliche, but appreciate the little things, because time, especially as we get older, goes faster and faster and faster. And before you know it, it's been 5, 10, 20 years since you've last seen someone or have done something. And I think you really, truly, before you have regrets, need to slow down and appreciate what you have in front of you and be present. So I think people forget that and they get caught up in everyday life, and I get it. That's the rat race that we're in. But, I say, if there's something you really, really want to do, take that risk, follow that dream, do whatever it is. That's part of slowing down and being present in that moment. So, yeah.
I love that. I appreciate you sharing.
Beautiful. Yeah, that was beautiful.
Well, we did it. We made it. We didn't get as deep as I thought we'd go, but it's okay.
We started to. We'll bring you back. We'll
Oh gosh.
I liked staying in the fun, happy party Molly years, and we kind of took a turn. But this was great. I texted you months ago, about being a guest, and I told you that it would take time, and you were very gracious to give me that time, and it's been awesome to have you on. So I appreciate you so much. I love you so much. And before we go, tell us again, where can we find Spruce? Where can if you want to share nowhere in particular, can anybody follow you there? What's put your socials out there.
Yeah, so
your business out there.
Okay. So my business, Spruce, is at Spruce, SPREWCE. That is the swimwear line that you can purchase from. Our website is also linked on the Instagram. If you want to just stalk me and my travels, I'm at Miss Kris 10, because my name is actually Kristen, but I go by Kris. That's MISSKRIS 10. Miss Kristen. I don't know why, but people have said like, "Oh, is it because you think you're a 10?" I'm like, "No, you stupid idiot. That's my name, Kristen."
That's yeah.
I'm like,
They-
okay.
They're dumb. That's just very just dumb.
Like, why do you think I just picked that number 10 out of nowhere? Like, I picked it out of a hat?
Because they think you're a dime. That's why they think you're a dime, and that's what they're implying.
You know what? I'll take it.
That's all that is.
I'll take it.
There it is.
Yep. And
God.
my portfolio is also listed in my bio of my Instagram. I've never said this before, so I feel super professional right now. But you can also stalk all my pictures on there if you want to look.
Link in the bio. Link in the bio.
I feel like an influencer.
It was a pleasure to meet you. I'm sure we'll have you on again down the road. The stories were great. Getting an insight into Chris's college years, a more in depth look was great.
It's only just begun.
Stories. Yeah, and loved your energy. Loved everything about this episode. So thank you for sharing, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This was awesome.
So if any part of today's episode hit home, please share it with a friend. Tag us at CrodsPod on Instagram. Help us keep these conversations going. Like Hugo said, follow her company Spruce. Nowhere in particular. We'll share everything in the bio. We do drop new episodes every Thursday morning, 8 a.m. We are live on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, and iHeart. As always, if you've got a story, a topic, or you just need to vent, please email us at crodspod@gmail.com. We of course, we want to hear from you. We are here to talk to or talk for you. As always, our safe space is your outlet. And until next time, Nick, look here. Look here, I got a shirt.
I see it. I got it. I'm pointing at it.
Right here. This is the image.
That's a screen grab.
And as always, live fast, eat ass, or just keep dancing through all the chaos.